Now, the call came hours after Sheinbaum rebuked Trump's plan to impose a 25% tariff on Mexican imports.
The US imposed new charges on goods imported from Canada, Mexico and China.
She faced off with U.S. President Trump over his plan to put tariffs on Mexican goods.
U.S. President Donald Trump has sparked outrage among Mexican officials by imposing a steep 21% tariff on tomatoes imported from Mexico. In a characteristically mocking tone, he accused Mexican exporters of having grown too spoiled, further stoking the flames of controversy. In response, the Mexican government is threatening to retaliate by slapping tariffs on red meat imports from the U.S., quipping, "Let's put meat on the scale, too." This latest standoff marks yet another episode in the long and turbulent saga of trade disputes between these neighboring nations. Adding political gravitas to the crisis is Claudia Shinbalm, Mexico's rising political star, whose sharp criticism of Trump's actions has further energized public discourse. Mexico's Ministry of Economy has also issued a stern warning. If this decision on tariffs persists, we are prepared to respond in kind, with tariffs on American red meat. And so, what might seem like a simple trade issue has escalated into a fierce confrontation, one that pits tomatoes, a staple of the Mexican economy, against red meat, a cornerstone of American exports. But why are tomatoes so valuable? Who stands to gain, and who is likely to suffer in this unfolding trade war? And how is Claudia Shinbalm, with her distinctive political style, turning the tide against Trump's aggressive policies? Let's unpack these questions together. Before we dive deeper, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Hit that notification bell and give this podcast a like if you enjoy these in-depth explorations of global affairs. In mid-April 2025, President Trump suddenly introduced a 21% tariff on Mexican tomatoes.
Tariffs are easy, they're fast, they're efficient, and they bring fairness.
Citing the need to protect American farmers from unfair competition. Official statements point to concerns over pricing advantages enjoyed by Mexican producers. Yet behind the scenes, many observers see this move as part of Trump's broader protectionist agenda, one that has intensified during his second term. Historically, agricultural tariffs have been a favored tool in Trump's economic strategy. Tomatoes are now the latest target. According to experts, between 40 to 50% of the tomatoes consumed in the United States, whether in grocery stores, restaurants, or fast food chains, originate from Mexico. This means the new tariffs are likely to have a direct impact, not only on Mexico's agricultural sector, but also on American consumers' wallets. Mexico, the largest supplier of fresh tomatoes to the U.S., reacted sharply. "They're trying to break the backbone of our economy," said the Mexican president, vowing retaliation. His administration is now considering a 25% tariff on red meat from the United States, an industry heavily dependent on Mexican markets. Mexico currently meets nearly 30% of its red meat needs through imports from the U.S. A retaliatory tariff would significantly reduce American meat's competitiveness, causing ripple effects through rural America, a key Trump constituency. Claudia Shinbalm was quick to comment, "American shoppers won't be happy when their grocery bills rise because of these tariffs." Her remarks have found sympathy among U.S. analysts who warn that tomatoes, being a household essential, will become more expensive, perhaps 10 to 15% more, further fueling inflation already troubling the economy. Interestingly, the diplomatic back and forth has also influenced financial markets. Following a phone call between Trump and Sheinbaum, a temporary easing of tensions led to a modest appreciation of the Mexican peso, as investors anticipated that dialogue might prevent an all-out trade war. Yet, while the tone may have softened temporarily, both sides remain firm in their positions. Trump's administration continues to project strength, with statements like, "Mexico will end up paying more if it buys meat elsewhere." But analysts argue that if Mexico truly follows through, the U.S. meat industry could face massive surpluses and falling prices, an economic blow to many in America's heartland. So, why are tomatoes such a big deal? Thanks to Mexico's favorable climate and proximity, it can supply the U.S. with fresh tomatoes year-round. This gives Mexican producers a significant advantage, especially in states like Texas and California, where demand is high. In 2024 alone, the U.S. imported nearly $2 billion worth of Mexican tomatoes. For Mexico, this is not just trade, it's livelihoods. Hundreds of thousands of workers are tied to the tomato sector. On the other hand, American farmers, particularly in Florida, have long complained about the low prices of Mexican tomatoes, blaming subsidies and unfair advantages. Thus, Trump's move caters to domestic agricultural lobbies, but at the cost of higher prices for consumers. And as Shinbalm rightly pointed out, the people will feel the pinch when they shop for groceries. Back in Mexico, the agriculture sector is still recovering from the pandemic. Another shock from this trade battle could derail progress. Meanwhile, jokes and memes circulate on social media. Trump should tax salsa and guacamole too. Then every American barbecue will truly feel the pain. Others retort, if you spoil our tomatoes, we'll spoil your hamburgers. The tomato meat standoff highlights the fragility of global trade. Both nations are deeply intertwined, especially under the USMCA agreement, the successor to NAFTA. Any escalation in tariffs risks damaging intricate supply chains, particularly in the automotive industry. And yet, amid the chaos, Sheinbaum has emerged as a deft political operator. Her calm, firm approach contrasts sharply with Trump's bombastic style. Observers believe she may well emerge from this crisis politically stronger. This trade war is more than just tomatoes and meat. It's a clash of ideologies, economies, and egos. So, what do you think? Will Trump's 21% tariff truly protect American farmers, or will it backfire by raising costs for consumers? Is Mexico's retaliation a smart political gambit, or a path to mutual damage? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more behind-the-scenes insights into global economic showdowns. This might just be the first chapter in a much longer story. Thank you for tuning in. See you in the next episode.